What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Just Friends. I know what you're thinking. It's been a while since I've put out an episode, and I'm going to explain why, I promise. In fact, that's kind of the whole reason that I'm making this episode. This is a special episode. I'm calling it Musing with Mitch, and I think it will be a repeating segment. It's going to be a little bit shorter. And the whole purpose is to just kind of keep people up to date with what's going on with me, because if you didn't already know, I no longer live in Louisville, Kentucky. So that's the first time I've ever been able to say that in my entire life. It's kind of cool. So for people out of the loop, let me catch you guys up. About, I guess it's been about a year now. About a year ago, kind of in the middle of COVID, um, I left classroom teaching. It was a decision that I had made after, a lot of deep thought and some serious meditation. I was just really unhappy in that environment. As a lot of you teachers out there who do it, you understand, burnout is real. And, I hadn't been there for a super long time, but I could just feel the impact it was having on my mental health. I think Sarah could feel the impact it was having on my mental health. And so we made the decision that I was going to leave classroom teaching. And I took a job working for a little healthcare technology startup in Louisville that allowed me to do a lot of really cool things. Um, and so I was working from home pretty much all of 2020. And it was really an interesting experience. And during that time, Sarah was working in the hospital. She was working with COVID patients. And I think for her, the burnout was also seriously real. And especially with everything with going on with COVID and just really, really sick people. And then a lot of her coworkers getting sick and then unable to go to work. Uh, we just kind of decided she wasn't getting compensated as well as she ought um, to be doing the job that she was doing. And we realized, but there were opportunities where she could potentially do that, and those opportunities reside in the realm of traveling. Um, so we talked about it. It was something that Sarah had kind of mentioned having always wanted to do from early on in our relationship, and it was, I think, kind of had felt like a pipe dream, something that she would maybe never be able to pull off. But I was flexible because I was working from home, and so we decided, yeah, we're gonna transition into travel nursing. And what that looked like for us, after some research, we decided, you can do it a couple of different ways. Some people rent homes in the cities or the towns that they're going to be working in. Sarah and I didn't want to do that. We wanted to have a little bit more flexibility. Um, and we also, didn't want to throw a whole bunch of money into renting property. So we purchased a fifth wheel camper and a truck. And that was an adventure. Our camper is 31 feet long. It's a Keystone Cougar 29 RET for you guys out there who want to creep on us and look up the floor plan of our home. It's on the internet. You can learn all about it. I learned all about it. And we pull that camper behind a 2015 Dodge Ram 3500. It is the biggest truck that I've ever seen, let alone owned. And the guy who I bought it from made fun of me because if any of you guys know, I had a little tiny Scion XD. I called it El Herbito because it looked like a hamster. And you could have parked it in the bed of the truck that we own now. And we traded that in for the truck. And, it was actually a really big process. I'm kind of skipping over a lot of stuff. We spent a lot of time doing a lot of research, trying to learn, what was going to be the best camper, what was going to be the best fit for us. Did we want to get a Class A? Did we want to, get something that we could tow behind bumper pool? Did we want to keep our vehicles? Did we want to trade them in? How we were going to do it? I also spent a lot of time getting our house in order because we had to figure out what we were going to do with the crib. I tore down Orange Brick Studios, which was heart wrenching. It still exists in spirit, don't worry, but in an actual tangible studio, it no longer exists unless you want to count this space, which I do. But I got the house ready. We did as much remodeling as we possibly could. It was already in good shape, but fixed it up, got it ready to go on the market. We now currently have a person living in our home and renting it from us, which is badass. Making a little bit of that passive income, which is awesome. And so Sarah started off by doing a contract in Cookeville, Tennessee, and I stayed at home, and she lived in Cookeville part time with three of her friends. Shout out to Carrie and Weta. You guys are the bomb. So they rented a house down there and they lived down there part time and they traveled back and forth. It's about 3 hours away. So we were kind of doing a long distance thing during that time. She was coming home every single time she had days off, but it was a tough 13 weeks. But we got through it and we got the house together and we got all of our shit in order and we packed everything up. And about 3 weeks ago now, maybe a month ago, honestly, it's kind of a whirlwind. Sarah finished up her contract in Cookville. We had a big ass yard sale where we sold as much of our stuff as we possibly could. Traded in the car, like I said, on a truck, bought ourselves a camper. We actually did that in January. We had it for a while. They stored it at the Camping World for us for almost 4 months, which was pretty cool. And then about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't know, I'm bad with time. We loaded everything up into the camper, packed the kids up. Winifred and Willow came with us as well. And we moved to Petersburg, Virginia. Sarah took a contract in Richmond, which is about 45 minutes north of us, at VCU Hospital. It's the Virginia Commonwealth University Hospital. It's a huge ass hospital in downtown Richmond. Richmond is a big city, which I should have expected. It's the capital of Virginia, but our capital is Frankfort, capital of Kentucky, and it's not the biggest city in the state. And I don't know. I think Richmond might be the biggest city in the state of Virginia. If it's not, it's surprising because it's pretty big and it seems like it's growing fast and it's beautiful. It's downtown Richmond has a ton, I think old Louisville, but like times 10, a ton of old homes. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it was the capital of the Confederacy, which is pretty wild. They had tons of like Confederate statues and they have been totally vandalized and it's kind of cool to see. It's like a testament to what's going on in our country right now and just what things are looking like in the current climate. And to see a big statue, like a 200-foot statue of Robert E. Lee, it's actually probably about a 30-foot statue on a really big ass pedestal, and to see that pedestal just like covered in graffiti and surrounded by fences and being guarded like day and night by guards, it makes you really feel like you're in the middle of history, which has been really cool. Virginia's been really cool so far. We've been seeing tons of like Civil War, I guess parks. There's one of the biggest battles of the Civil War is actually the final battle of the Civil War was for the city of Petersburg, which is the one we live closest to currently. And at the end of that battle, General Robert E. Lee, the guy whose statue was defaced, surrendered at the Appomattox courthouse to I don't know, the Union General. I should know his name, but it was 160 years ago now. But it's been really cool to check out the city and to learn and kind of settle into a new routine. We did decide to bring Sarah's car, which was cool. So we have the truck and the car. The truck, like I said, is a beast. Gas mileage, not the best. Excuse me. So we brought the Avalon, and it's a boat. Don't get me wrong, but it's better than the truck. And I've been taking Sarah to work in the mornings. Sometimes she works days, so she'll work 7 to 7 a.m. to p.m. Sometimes she works nights, so she'll work p.m. to a.m. and still 7 to 7. So sometimes I'm taking her into work in the evenings, but then, I've got the car. Winnie and I are going on tons of walks because we don't have the yard anymore, so I can't be lazy and just put her outside and let her poop in the yard. But I think that's been good for her, honestly. We've been doing a bunch of long walks, and she's been getting some exercise. She's less fat. I wish I could say I was less fat, but that would be a lie. And then just kind of settling into the camper. It's been way more natural than I would have expected. I like being more limited. I like having less stuff. We left most of the stuff in our house. So all the furniture still in the house, a lot of the amenities that we had, we just left it in the house. So we've got a person who's renting it out. They found us on Airbnb. They're there for a couple of months. Shout out to Bree. Bree, you're the bomb. You'll probably never hear this. I kind of hope you don't ever find this podcast. But if you do, thank you so much for renting our house for the next 2 months. It's really awesome for us. But yeah, we've been getting settled into the camper. I bought a desk and kind of built this little office space, which has been fun. Sarah's bought a bunch of little plants, and I've been hanging stuff up. And it's kind of interesting living in a mobile home. Um, but it's not a whole lot different from living in the house I was living in before. Right now, everything's pretty new. Nothing's broken yet. So I haven't had any of those types of adventures like cutting big holes in the walls. I'm kind of hoping not to have that happen. Uh, but, who knows? Virginia, like I said, is pretty cool. It's a legal weed state, which is pretty badass. So starting July 1st, all adults who are Virginia residents, which kind of sucks, can grow up to 4 plants, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to ask, in the campground we're staying in is pretty cool. It's about 25 people. Most of the people here are long-term stayers like us who are doing a few months at least, some people up to years, lots of military people, lots of contractors. And the lady who owns it, her name's Junie, and she's a Virginia native and resident. So they put out a little vegetable garden and they've got a strawberry patch. So I'm going to see like, hey, can we grow a couple of plants in the vegetable garden? Just as an experiment. And, the vegetable garden is communal, so everybody can share. So that's what it would be like. So we'll see what happens. See if Miss Junie's cool. She seems to really like Jesus, which is nice because she's sweet as hell, but she might not be about growing some marijuana. But, we'll see. We will see. I'm also doing a lot of other little adventures. I started going to a jujitsu class, which has been fun. It made me realize how unflexible I am. So I've started stretching. And like I said, I've been doing long walks with Winnie's. Those might become runs. It's about 95 degrees today and very humid. It was raining earlier. So when I dropped Sarah off at work, normally I would take Winnie for a long walk, but it was raining. And then it stopped raining and now it's like 95. So we didn't get our walk today. Or we did. It was short. But we'll definitely get that walk in tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Yeah, all of our neighbors are cool as hell. The guy who is kind of like the I guess you call him the manager, the property manager of the place. His name's Dave. He's a badass. Excuse me. He was in the military. He only has one leg. He walks around with his prosthetic. He kills it. And yeah, he's a really nice guy. We locked ourselves out of our camper on like day 8, and he helped get us get back in. So it's really cool, man. It's a really cool little community of people. They take care of each other. And I'm glad that we can be here and be a part of it, at least for the next few weeks. Just some cool stuff that's coming up. Brian Williams, the one and only. If you listen to this podcast, you know who he is and you love him. And if you haven't listened to his episodes, please, guys. He was episode number 1. Yeah, and episode number 1. And then he was also episode like number 68 or something like that, or 58. He's just a cool ass guy. One of my favorites. And he's moving here to Richmond in, I think, June 15th, which is mine and Sarah's wedding anniversary, which is cool. So we're really looking forward to that. A couple of weekends from now, we're driving over to Annapolis, which is only like 3 hours from us now in Maryland. We're going to visit Caitlin Richter, White Povleboon. She's got a lot of last names, but I think the most recent one is Povleboon. And her wife, Teresa, who's awesome. And we're going to hang out with them. And I think Elena and her girlfriend, Erica, are going to be there. So if you guys know them, you love them, they're awesome. Shout out to them. All my Starbucks people will know who those people are. And I'm really excited about seeing them because it's been a while. It's been a long time. Definitely pre-COVID since I've seen Teresa and Caitlin. I think I may have seen, we went to Covington for a wedding and I saw Erica and Elena. So that was fun. So I'm excited to catch up with those guys. It should be really, really cool. And I'm excited to continue to check out Virginia. So, we went to the Museum of the Civil War Soldier the other day, which was fun. We got to learn about how much it would have sucked to have to fight in a Civil War before air conditioning. I know people in the military, don't have air conditioning now, and you're like in Fallujah and it's hot as fuck and you're getting shot at. So don't get me wrong. It's not a whole lot better now, but it really sucked for those guys. I had to wear the same pair of clothes for like years, especially in the Confederacy because they was poor as shit. and their shit didn't work and their factories blew. They pretty much relied 100% on enslaved human beings for their economy, which, on top of being morally indefensible, is also like just probably not the best way. I mean, especially if you're in the middle of a war, like trying to keep them enslaved, like they're probably not going to help you as much. I don't know. I was never a slave. I should shut the fuck up. But anyway, yeah, they had to wear the same underwear for like 3 months, so their ass crack was just all, I mean, you just imagine how much chafing they must have had going on. And then like they would get fleas and lice and just, I just wouldn't want to have to do it. And then, also they shot each other with cannons. I'm glad I didn't have to be in the Civil War. So that was cool to learn about. What else? What else should I talk about? I talked about the legal weed, which is badass. I meant to use that as a segue into talking about Chris Berry, who you all know, who is a regular on the podcast, or at least he should be. Yeah, he's been on twice. He's a regular now. Chris just opened up a brand new restaurant in the area of Rough River. I think it's South Highway 70, South Highway 71. I don't know. Google it. It's called Porgy's Hot Dog and Soda Shop. Guys, you remember Chris Berry. You've seen, I mean, he's a big fella. He got that way by eating food that he had cooked. Okay, he's got a culinary degree from Sullivan University. His wife's got a culinary degree from Sullivan University. She's got like a bachelor's degree in dietetics, so she knows all about food. Chris is fat, so he loves eating delicious food. Me too, also fat. And he has opened up his own hot dog and soda shop. Guys, it's right by Litchfield, right by the river. If you are hungry, if you're on the river, on the water all day, I know you're hungry. You're in the sun, you're in the water, you're swimming, you need a meal. Chris is going to make you a custom hot dog. They're delicious. I've eaten multiple of the prototypes. They were delicious. He finally settled on one, proprietary blend. He makes his own farce meat. I think they smoke the hot dogs. They're not all beef because he said they didn't taste as good all beef. And so I'm like, hell yeah, don't try to die on the sword. I don't know, that analogy. So he didn't. So he put a little pork fat in there, and I think it was for the better, and they're delicious. And you can get all kinds of good shit on them. He's got like the Hawaiian dog. He's got like the barbecue dog. He's making his pulled pork. Y'all know that pulled pork. You know that white sauce. If you know, you know. You got to head over to Porgy's, guys. It's like probably 45 minutes south of Louisville, but who gives a fuck? It's for your friend Chris Berry. He would go to your restaurant. He would eat everything you had there. Okay? He would purchase it all. And you should do that for him. You need to go put the man, I want to say put him out of business by eating all of the stuff, but I don't want you to put him out of business because he's my friend. I want you to put him into business. I want you to make his business the greatest business. I want you to go there, and I want you to buy all of his food, and I want you to drink all of their sodas. They make their own sodas. I probably shouldn't tap that. And they make their own sodas. They make their own soda syrups. They got carbonated water. I'm pretty sure that's the only two ingredients to soda is just a syrup and carbonated water. He makes them. He's got like cherry, and he's got his own cola. He's got a sarsaparilla. He's got it all. And it's a super nostalgic experience. If you're like 85, if you got a grandparent who's like 90, they would love the soda shop. It's the same thing. It's delicious food, and you should go check it out. You need Chris. Chris is making wieners. You got to put them in your mouth. Okay? Trust me. I know. I've had his wieners in my mouth. They're delicious. He puts pineapples on them, and they're good as fuck. So you should check that out. Make sure you're eating at Porgy's. Google it. Check out the Facebook page. I think there's a Facebook page. Yeah, it's delicious. You should definitely go. So I guess we've been going now for like 20 minutes. So that's pretty good. It's probably honestly not that long because I think we started 8 minutes in on the audio track. So we've been going for a while. So, this is the very first one of these. I don't know exactly what they're going to be like. I don't know if they're just going to be like this, like a stream of consciousness, or if I'm going to put a little bit more thought into them. If I'm going to spend more time trying to, produce high quality content. I do want to do that. I kind of want to do a skit show, but I got a friend who's already doing that, and his is really good. He's got way more voices. I would have to be doing it by myself. So I don't know, but I'm excited about the future of Musing with Mitch. I'm excited about the future of podcasting in general. So what that looks like for us is I'm sitting on 2 episodes. I got Mr. Cheyenne Von Kennel, whom I love you forever for allowing me to sit on this podcast since like January, no joke. And then I just did another one with my buddy Tim Spurlock, who worked at that company with me. The healthcare technology startup I told you about, I actually no longer work with them. That's a long story. Maybe I'll get into that in the next episode. Probably not, though. But yeah, I'm sitting on that episode with him. His was really interesting. Not to say that Cheyenne's wasn't. Cheyenne's was super fun. We hung out all day pretty much, like 7 hours. It's a blast. But he's an internet security specialist, and he knows all about like just all the bullshit that's going on with the internet and how they're stealing all of our data. And he gives some pretty good advice just to be cognizant of, what's going on. They're stealing your children's identities. They're selling their shopping patterns to Target and Google and Amazon and all that shit. And they know everything about you, and they're pretty much going to be able to guess your behavior pretty soon. And they're going to offer you like sales that you cannot resist. And they're going to offer them to you when you're the most easily manipulated so that you can't, they're going to track your sleeping patterns. So like, he's been up for 6 days and he probably is very sleepy and he's been eating like crap. And we should definitely try to get him to buy this pornography because he's going to do it 100%, and they're going to manipulate us and they're going to steal all of our money. So now I sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, which is exactly what I was going for. I want to say hi to all my friends in Louisville. I miss you all. I hope you're watching this and listening to this. I hope you guys are doing awesome. Jake Stratton, I love you. I miss you. David Vandenberg, Chris Berry, of course. Let's see, Tim Higdon, Troy Davis, Mel Mellick, Nick Reynolds, Zach Hart. I love all of you guys. TJ, Kyle, Ben Edwards, Ben Risen, DJ. Just all of you guys. I miss you guys. D's Nuts, the softball team, just in general. I love you guys. Kentucky Gentlemen, I love you guys. You guys were all real supportive of, the original podcast, and that's going to continue to happen. I'm going to try to get new guests. Like I said, I've been doing like jujitsu, and I'm going to ask some of those guys. There's a couple of cool guys there. Barry, the guy who runs it's pretty cool. And then there's a guy named Ivan there. He's got a pretty strong mustache. So I feel like if I can break him, get him talking to me, that'd be really fun. So I'm going to do all that. And I'm just going to keep pushing forward. I got a lot of free time now. I'm unemployed. I'm looking for a job. If you know of a job that is remote that I could do from a camper in a campground, I got high-speed internet. I got an office set up. I can do it. You just let me know. I'd be more than happy to work for you. If you got that paper. If you got that paper, I will do it. So thank you all for watching. I hope this wasn't the most boring thing you've ever watched in your entire life. I enjoyed doing it. I hope I look fantastic. I know the lighting is not the best, but I brushed my hair and my beard is long. And I look best when my beard is long because it hides my fat chins, which is nice. So thank you all for watching this episode of Just Friends Musing with Mitch. This is episode 1 of Musing with Mitch. I'm sure there will be more. And I love you all, and I appreciate you all. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.